Well, he has to be 6 feet tall, big biceps, a killer smile, and a six pack, of course. When considering gender and the media, we're quick to jump to body image issues regarding females. Women in the media are often depicted as too skinny, too made up, too airbrushed. Women are expected to be slender yet curvy, experienced yet innocent, and made up yet natural. Of course, it's an impossible standard. However, mass media also has clear messages about the ideal male body. While females in media are often made to look smaller, they have slender bodies, they're in submissive poses, sometimes their mouths are even covered. Males are made to look larger. They have big muscles that are well defined, and that signifies power and dominance. Body image misrepresentations of either gender can lead to unhealthy diet and exercise habits and poor mental health. Of course, it's unfair to compare yourself to a film star or a fitness model. Not only do they likely have a much larger budget than you do, they may also have a home gym, corporate sponsors, and the magic of airbrushing. Let's begin with a look at a popular mass media character and hero to little boys everywhere, Batman. Perhaps you've never considered how Batman has changed throughout the years. Well, take a look at these multiple representations of Batman. I know that your eyes are automatically drawn to 1995 Alfredo Cesaro, much different than the Christian Bale edition we got in the early 2000s. Now, of course, his body has become more muscular throughout time, but it's also worth noting that his outfit, his costume has changed. He is not only just wearing a weak fabric, he now has armor that is built into his muscles. How interesting to see this progression from a doughier body to a more muscled body. Another popular character that came about in the 1970s was Luke Skywalker from Star Wars. Here is one of the original action figures for Star Wars. And much has changed as we progress into the 1990s. Though this is the exact same character, you can see 1990s Luke Skywalker is literally falling over because of his large pecs. He has much more defined biceps and quad muscles. And not only is his body more noticeable, he now has two weapons instead of one. So his body is a weapon, but he also is arming himself with these additional weaponry. This is an experiment that was done by a designer. They sent this photo out to different countries around the world and asked them to Photoshop it to match their ideal body, male body image. So there's the original. Here's what the UK version looks like. Obviously, he's slimmed down and gotten quite a bit more tan. Well, look at the vast difference between the original, the UK edition, and the United States edition. Much more muscle definition and tone. Let's look at some real life examples. Here's Chris Pratt. On the left, you can see this was perhaps in his Parks and Rec days, and on the right, maybe his Jurassic Park and Jurassic World days. He's changed quite a bit. Now, we love Chris Pratt in any form he's in, right? Whether he's doughy and funny or muscular and action adventure and the romantic lead, but he's played very different characters with this body type. We accept men in a doughy or more natural form when they're comedic, when they're funny. However, if we're looking for an action lead or a romantic lead, we definitely lean toward the Chris Pratt on the right. Recently, some Jumanji movies, Jumanji remakes, have been coming out, and I think it's worth considering how these characters are portrayed and what that says about them relating to their bodies. Obviously, Dwayne Johnson is meant to be the attractive male lead, and then we have two male comedic roles. One is played by Kevin Hart, and he's comedic to us because he's quite short. And the other, I am completely blanking, Jack Black, is played by Jack Black, who's a larger actor, and he's always in comedic roles as well. So it's interesting to note the difference in their body types. Here's tennis star Andy Roddick. On the left, this is an actual photo of him. And on the right, here he is on the cover of Men's Fitness. When he saw how photoshopped his biceps were, he suggested that they be returned to the man that they belonged to. Let's talk about biceps. The average man has a bicep circumference of 13 to 14 inches, all the way around flexed muscle. While Chris Pratt is a little larger than the average man, his biceps are 16 inches. In your mind, take a guess at how big Dwayne Johnson's biceps are. These are 20 inches. And if we were to take G.I. Joe, who's been a role model for young children, action figure, action star, who's very strong, perhaps the male version of Barbie, if we're making a comparison, his biceps would be 27 inches. Consider how large and muscular we consider Dwayne Johnson. Well, if G.I. Joe were a real person, he would fall over. His biceps would be so large. When considering the representation of male bodies in the media, it's important to notice the power and dominance that's associated with these bodies. And of course, it's unfair to compare real bodies to bodies represented in the media, who are not only supported by corporate sponsors, gyms, a lot more money than we have generally, but also Photoshop. These representations are damaging and unrealistic and can be hurtful to both genders. So let's consider this as we move forward in media.